As a quick preface before starting this timeline, it's just going to be a one-off video, since besides in the Tournament of Power, it wouldn't change much in the story afterwards. Regardless, we opened this part after the Xeno Expo ended, as the Grand Minister was currently announcing the rules for the tournament. Xeno seemed to enjoy the one-on-one fights more in this timeline, so the Grand Minister says the Tournament of Power will have a bracket with the matches being randomly decided. He would also mention that in the first round, they will ensure that fighters from the same universe won't face each other, but there is no guarantee that it won't happen in the later rounds of the tournament. Also, for this tournament, he tells them that they only need to gather 8 fighters instead of 10. So, for the fighters I took off the teams, I tended to take away the weakest fighters, but there were some exceptions, like with Universe 2. I took Hermira and Prum off the team instead of their weakest fighters, as Hermira and Prum's techniques seem to rely on each other, so in a one-on-one fight, their techniques would be useless. For Universe 3, I took Zarpricio and Negrisi off the team since they seemed like the weakest. I took Zianka and Kawaii off the Universe 4 team for the same reason. For Universe 6, at first, I'm not going into a lot of detail about why I took who I did off their team, but only Dr. Rhoda was taken off their team. As for Universe 7, it was easier to choose who to drop, as they wouldn't recruit Frieza since they only needed 8 fighters. For the other fighter, I've seen arguments for both sides of if Tien or Roshi was stronger, but I believe Roshi was stronger, so I took Tien off the team. Then for Universe 9, I took Roselle and Comfrey off the team. Next, for Universe 10, I took Really Boo and Mephioff off the team. Lastly, for Universe 11, I took Vaughn and Tupper off the team. So, when everyone arrives in the World of Void for the tournament, there are only 65 fighters this time, instead of the normal 80 fighters. When Beer sees Universe 6 arrive and that they have 9 fighters, he tries to accuse them of cheating, though the Grand Minister would assure him they aren't, and he wouldn't go into more detail about it. He then goes over the rules again. Weapons, killing, and flight still isn't allowed, though if they have wings, they can still fly. There also isn't a time limit for the fights, and the match will only end when one of the fighters are knocked out of the ring. He'd also reiterate that fighters from the same universe will not go up against each other in the first round. Anyway, when coming up with the matches, I used a random number generator to decide who would fight who. The only thing I made sure of when generating the matches is that Goku and Jiren were on opposite sides of the bracket, so that they wouldn't face each other until the last round. I did this so Universe 7 would at least still have a chance of winning the tournament, since Goku would likely lose if he faced Jiren any earlier. So, the first match of round 1 is between Kensai and Shosa. Kensai would likely be the one to win this match, as in the anime he was able to assist Dispo against Goku and Hit, while Shosa was eliminated by Krillin in 18. Shosa might still try playing dead, but Kensai would see through this and knock him out of the ring. The second match would be between Basil and Murray-san. It only took Kappa to eliminate Murray-san, while it took both Goku and Vegeta to eliminate Basil. So, Basil would be able to easily knock Murray-san out of the ring. The third match is then between Rubolt and Biara. Biara's main ability was his defensive capabilities, which I think Rubolt could break through these, as he was able to knock around Piccolo with ease at first, so Biara is eliminated. Next, the fourth match would be between Piccolo and Jimizu, which with his instant transmission he might catch Piccolo off guard at first. However, Piccolo would eventually catch on to his pattern of attacking and see through it, so he would then easily grab Jimizu and blast him out of the ring. The fifth match is between Senkaku and Murray-chan, even though she probably wouldn't need to for this fight. Senkaku still transforms to Cocoon set and then knocks Murray-chan out of the ring. The sixth match is between Chapel and Majora, which we didn't see much of these two in the anime. Since it took Super Saiyan Goku to take out Chapel and just Krillin to take out Majora, I think Chapel would win and eliminate Majora. Next, the seventh match would be between Ganos and Lavender, which unlike the Universe 7 fighters, Ganos likely wouldn't know about Lavender's ability. So regardless of if Ganos transformed, he would still succumb to Lavender's poison and be knocked out of the ring. Next in the 8th match is Jiren against Automagetta, which Automagetta would not stand a chance, as he would easily be blasted out of the ring by Jiren. The 9th match is between Paparoni and Gamisalis. We've never seen much from Paparoni, but he seems intelligent, so he would probably be able to make Gamisalis visible by kicking up dust and then knocking him out of the ring. For the 10th match between Bicol and Casserole, Casserole would likely be able to easily knock Bacall out of the ring. The 11th match is between Salanel and Koitsuke, which it took Piccolo and Gohan together to take out Salanel, while it took just Gohan to outmatch Koitsuke, so Salanel easily knocks Koitsuke out of the ring. Next is the 12th match between Oregano and Majikayo, but there isn't much to say about it, as Majikayo would easily win. For the 13th match between Sorel and Surose, much like the one with Kakunsa, she wouldn't have to transform, though she still would transform into Rosie and then knock Sorel out of the ring. The 14th match would be between Android 18 and Rabonra, which since 18 was able to take out Rebrand in their strongest form, and Rabonra wouldn't be able to transform since Cocoons is still in the tournament, so 18 would easily win. Next is the 15th match between Zerlin and Durkori, which even without being transformed, Zerlin can easily eliminate Durkori. Then for the 16th match, Krillin would be going against Hissop. Even though it took a Super Saiyan Vegeta to knock out Hissop, I think Krillin would be able to eliminate him, as Vegeta was likely suppressed as a Super Saiyan at that time. So, The 17th match would be between Bergamo and Android 17, which Bergamo wouldn't stand a chance, so he is eliminated. The 18th match would be between Kettle and Barretta. It was hard for me to decide the winner, but I eventually decided on Kettle being the winner, since he was able to hold up against Super Saiyan Kale and Caulifla, while Barretta was losing against Gohan even when he teamed up with the other Universe 3 fighters. Next is Nappa against Narayama in the 19th match, which both of their abilities were made to help them from falling from the ring, so this could go either way. However, I said Nappa won since he could resist Basil's attack while Narayama was damaged by Basil. So, Nappa manages to knock Narayama out of the ring after stopping himself from falling out. Then in the 20th match, it would be between Zarbuto and Hit, which Hit would easily be able to defeat him, especially since Zarbuto can't transform. The 21st match between Hop and Kato Pesra would be an easy win for Kato Pesra, as he wouldn't need to transform to eliminate Hop. For the 22nd match, Dirison would be going against Piolina, which he wouldn't stand a chance if Piolina would easily eliminate him. We finally get to a longer fight. The 23rd match is between Brienne de Chateau and Gohan. She would start off with turning into her Re-Brienne form, which Gohan would be beating her down at first. Even when she turns into her Super Re-Brienne form, Gohan would still be winning at this point. However, when she turns into her lovely, love Re-Brienne form, this pushes Gohan into using his ultimate form. He would be able to win this fight, as it took an injured Android 18 to take her out, and Gohan is stronger than her, so Re-Brienne is eliminated. The 24th match is between Diem and Damon, which even though Diem can fly, he likely wouldn't be able to notice that Damon is invisible, so Diem would be eliminated. Next is the 25th match between Ponchia and Dispo, which Dispo would easily be able to eliminate Ponchia. The next fight, which is the 26th match, is another fast one since it's between Nink and Top, as Top would easily eliminate Nink. Next is the 27th match between Kappa and Zoré, which Zoré fought both Super Saiyan Kale and Caulifla, and he was winning. This was with 3 other Pride Troopers helping him. So, in a one-on-one fight with Kappa, especially after he goes Super Saiyan, Kappa would easily knock Zoré out of the ring. As for the 28th match between Mana and Vegeta, she would be struggling against Base Vegeta, though not by much. He would go Super Saiyan, which would cause her to expand herself, as it continues to be a close fight. Then once he goes Super Saiyan 2, he can easily blast her out of the ring, so she is eliminated. The 29th match would be where we finally find out why there are 9 people in Universe 6's team. As Omni enters the ring, Caulifla and Kale stand up on the edge of the stands. They pulled out the Patara earrings that they were given by Champa. Then when they put both on, they fuse into Kefla. As she enters the ring, Beerus again tries to accuse Champa of cheating, but the Grand Minister would again say that they aren't. He would go into more detail this time, though, and say that Champa came to the Grand Minister and the Xenos with a question about the tournament. He had Kale and Caulifla with him at the time, and he had them demonstrate using the Patara fusion. He then asked the Xenos if the fusion would be allowed to participate in the tournament, since they are technically one person, which, the Xenos allowed this, since they thought it was cool. Regardless, Kefla wouldn't even have to transform into a Super Saiyan in this fight, since in her base form, she would easily be beating down Omni, so she would then blast him out of the ring, thus eliminating him. Then for the 30th match, it is between Batano and Goku, so they both enter the ring. They fought against each other before in the tournament against Universe 6, so Goku should be able to win against him again. This time, however, he would eliminate him in a similar way to how Gohan did in the anime. Even though Batano was nullifying Goku's punches with his Batano shield, his punches would eventually lift Batano off the ground. He then tried blasting Goku with his Batano beams, but this didn't work, as Goku then kicked him up into the air and fired a Kamehameha at him. Batano tried to nullify the Kamehameha with a Batano beam, but it didn't work, so he was eliminated. The 31st match would then be between Frost and Master Roshi, which their fight would essentially go the same as it did in the anime. Roshi would still have some trouble with him at first, but since he isn't weakened by this point, he doesn't miss, so he successfully steals Frost with the evil containment wave. He then throws the jar containing Frost out of the ring, thus eliminating him. Finally, the 32nd and final match of the first round would be between Zarkor and Kokot. We don't see much from Zarkor at all, as he was just eliminated by Jameezy in the anime, so Kokot should easily be able to eliminate him. This then brings us to the second round, with the 33rd match of the tournament being between Kensai and Basil, which I think Kensai would win this, as he was shown to be able to hold hit with his energy threads, and he was able to take a punch from Super Saiyan Blue Goku, while Basil only forced Goku and Vegeta to go Super Saiyan Blue when he was working with Lavender and Bergamo, so Kensai eliminates Basil with the help of using his energy threads. Next would be the 34th match between Rubolt and Piccolo, which we've seen this fight in the anime, so it would go the same, with Piccolo knocking him out of the ring with the Hellzone Grenade. The 35th match would be between Cocoons and Chapel, which is likely Cocoons would be able to easily eliminate Chapel in this fight. In the 36th match, Lavender would be going against Jiren, which even with his poison he wouldn't stand a chance, so Lavender is eliminated. Since this was Universe 9's last fighter, everyone from Universe 9 is erased, including Sidra and Ro, thus leaving only the Angel Mojito behind, as he smiles nonchalantly about them being erased. For the 37th match, it was again hard to say who would win, but I chose Pepperoni as the winner since he was shown to go toe-to-toe with Zerline, who I believe is stronger than Casserelle, so Casserole is eliminated. The 38th match was also one I struggled with, since it was between Salanel and Majikayo, but I eventually came up with the conclusion that Majikayo would win. This was because he was one of the people Jiren thought it was worth to step in himself and eliminate, so Salanel was eliminated. Next would be Rosie and H-Wood 18 going against each other in the 39th match, which 18 would be able to win, so she beat Ribrianne in the anime, who was stronger than Rosie, so 18 eliminates Rosie. For the 40th match, Zerloin and Krillin would be going against each other. Since Ribrianne was eliminated, Zerloin is now able to transform into the Ribrianne-like form, which with that power he eliminates Krillin. In the 41st match, Android 17 and Kettle would go against each other, which 17 would easily be able to win this. The 42nd match would be between Napapa and Hit. If he doesn't stand a chance against Hit, so Napapa is eliminated. Since this was Universe 10's last fighter, everyone from Universe 10 is erased, including Rumshi and Gawasu, thus leaving only the Angel Kusu behind, as she mourns her universe. For the 43rd match, it is between Kato Pesper and Piolana, and no matter how much Kato Pesper transforms, he doesn't stand a chance, so he is eliminated. The 44th match is between Gohan and Damam, which Gohan would likely be able to eliminate him in a similar way to how Goku did, with him destroying the ground beneath him and then blasting him out of the ring. Since this was Universe 4's last fighter, everyone from Universe 4 is erased, including Katella and Kuru, thus leaving only the Angel Cognac behind, as he remains silent and unfazed by this. The 45th match is the first match we had between two fighters of the same universe, as it is between Dispo and Toph, which, there isn't much to say about this match, because Toph would easily win this fight. Next would be the 46th match between Kaba and Vegeta, as they would both start in their base form, but they would eventually decide to go Super Saiyan, as they continue to trade blows with each other. Since Vegeta was one of the better fight than just going Super Saiyan, he would try to teach Kaba to obtain the Super Saiyan 2 form. It would likely work, as Vegeta going Super Saiyan 2 could pressure him into unlocking this form. Regardless, Vegeta would then go Super Saiyan Blue and eliminate Kaba, though he still makes the promise about reviving Kaba in Universe 6 if he wins. The 47th match would be between Kepler and Goku, so they both enter the ring. Goku was excited to be able to fight against the female Saiyans of Universe 6, especially a Potara fusion of them. Though, after Kepler's match with Omni, a lot of her time as a fusion was used up, because the fights and time between the matches would have taken a while. So, unfortunately for Goku, since he wanted to fight the fusion, they defused right after entering the ring, as their 1 hour time limit ran out. We never see if there must be a resting period between refusing with the Potara, but I'm going to assume there must be a 1 hour of rest like there is for the fusion dance. Since Goku still wants to fight them while they are fused, he decides to try and hold them off for an hour. Since Kale was still timid when it comes to fighting, she would stay on the sideline as Cleveland and Goku start to fight while in their base forms. After going blow for blow like this for a little bit, they would both go into their Super Saiyan forms, but after fighting in these forms for a bit, Goku would decide to push it further into going Super Saiyan 2. This is when Khalifa would reveal she achieved that form once when Kale transformed, but she hasn't been able to achieve it since. Since Khalifa couldn't beat Goku, he seemingly gets disinterested. Of course, this angers Khalifa, so she tells Kale to transform, though when this doesn't work and Goku's getting ready to eliminate them, Khalifa tells him to hold on as she turns into a Super Saiyan 3rd grade. This briefly impresses Goku, but she can't land a hit when she tries to fight him. So, Goku tells her that this form is a liability since it is too slow. After Goku tells her to strive for Super Saiyan 2, she tries to transform into it, and she succeeds this time. They were fighting an equal battle, and when Kale tries to console Khalifa, she's ignored since Khalifa was having fun. She then tries to support Khalifa by firing a Ki Blast at Goku, but Goku asks her not to interfere. When she then asks Khalifa if she is a bother to her, Khalifa just ignores the question, which sparks Kale and causes her to cry. This sorrow then turns into a hatred for Goku as she transforms into her legendary Super Saiyan form. She then attacks Goku and almost knocks Khalifa off the stage, but she saves herself at the last minute. Goku tries to fight back, but his attacks do nothing, so he turns straight into his Super Saiyan Blue. Even then, he struggled with her, and it begins to show that Kale couldn't control her power, and she gives into her rage. When she powers up, she starts sending Ki Blasts throughout the entire stage. However, when Khalifa starts talking with her and encouraging her to control herself, she manages to and goes into her controlled Super Saiyan form. Khalifa then turns her attention to fighting with Goku again, which once she starts getting hits on him, he begins to take it seriously. He then starts to use the After Image technique, which confuses her, so Goku knocks her aside. He would then say if she can't figure this out, she will never achieve the next level, which is Super Saiyan 3. Goku would then start speed blitzing her with the instant transmission, but she slowly begins to adapt to this. He then pushes her back and she uses her Crush Cannon, which he just barely manages to block. As they both power up to their max, they fire Ki Blasts at each other, which in combination with the impact of their attacks shaking the ring, the arena starts to get destroyed. She then fakes a Ki Blast in his face and punches him, which impresses Goku and causes Kale to realize that Khalifa is having fun. After Goku says she might go Super Saiyan 3, he then points out Kale, so Khalifa offers for her to join and learn to go Super Saiyan 3 as well. Fighting alongside Khalifa excites Kale, so she then jumps into the fight, and they attack Goku together, as they land clean hits on him. Goku starts adapting too as he is pushed to the edge, as the two push him back with ki blasts. He then turns into a Super Saiyan 3 as his aura blocks these attacks. Since he didn't use a lot of stamina, he can maintain this form, as Caulifla becomes determined to achieve this form. Kale gets determined as well, and she briefly slips into her legendary Super Saiyan form. When Caulifla tries to break her out of this form again by saying that she is her true friend and they can be the greatest threat to all universes, she breaks out of this form. So, she transforms into her controlled legendary Super Saiyan 2 form. Goku is starting to be overwhelmed by their combination attacks, so he uses Solar Flare to blindside Caulifla. This angers Kale, so she pushes Goku back, but Goku eventually fends her off. Caulifla then makes a smokescreen as a diversion and Kale grabs him as Caulifla starts to pummel Goku. This eventually leads to him realizing that they are the perfect tag team, as after he flipped Kale, he uses the instant transmission, but Caulifla sensed where he would appear. Goku then goes into his Super Saiyan God form and starts using his God Shot, though they dodge it. However, when they try to attack him, Goku manages to hold his own against them. They then try to attack him with blasts from both sides, but he pushes back, with Kale holding her own but Caulifla running from the one tracking her. Though she is eventually hit, so Goku suggests that they can either fuse again or they need more training before they fight again after the tournament. While an hour hasn't passed, so they can't fuse again, it is getting close. So, to stall for a little longer, they request that Goku teach them to go Super Saiyan 3. Since he is kind of excited to see if they can achieve it, and he wants to see them fuse, he agrees. So, like he did with encouraging Caulifla to go Super Saiyan 2, he tries coaching them through how to become a Super Saiyan 3. Which, with their potential, I believe it's possible for them to achieve it, so they do eventually transform into a Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. They then attack Goku in combination again, which this time their attacks start to push him back even more. However, even though the fight is closer, and they are landing some hits, the Super Saiyan God form still leaps and bounds above two Super Saiyan 3s. So, he then charges the Kamehameha, which starts to shatter the ring around them. However, since it has now been an hour, Caulifla tells Kale to get out the Potara earring. As they fuse into Kefla and jump back into the ring, Goku is amazed by her power. Now that they are fused, they call his attacks lame, since he was being easily overpowered. Eventually he just barely manages to defend himself from one of her blasts, and as the smoke clears, it is revealed he transformed into a Super Saiyan Blue. Kefla responds in kind and goes Super Saiyan, with her transformation shaking the entire ring. Since Goku hasn't lost stamina before this fight, he is even with Kefla, so he starts using the Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue. When she fires her fist cannonball, he deflects it, and as they keep powering up, he lands clean hits on Kefla. He then counters one of her ki blasts with a Kamehameha, but she appears behind him and deflects it. Goku then reverts to his base form and Kefla prepares to eliminate him, but he manages to rise to his feet, albeit shakily. When she fires a barrage of ki blasts at him, he deflects all of them, as he has achieved the Ultra Instinct Sign form for the first time. Which, this shocks all the gods, as they didn't think a mortal could achieve this form. Kefla then transforms to a Super Saiyan 2 as she attacks Goku, but he dodges all her punches. He then knocks her away with the invisible eye blast, and then he teleports behind her and knocks her away with a barrage of punches. She then decides to use her maximum power, and since Kale and Caulifla both learn Super Saiyan 3, Kefla transforms into a Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. She then uses her Ray Blast, and some of the lasers graze him while he charges his Kamehameha. Then when Kefla uses her gigantic burst, Goku still skids on top of it with his Kamehameha and fires it at her. This sends her out of the ring, and as she was falling out of bounds, she diffuses into Kale and Caulifla, which Goku then collapses to the ground as he falls back to his base form. For the last match of the second round, which is the 48th match, it would be between Master Roshi and Kakat. Even though Kakat would be stronger than Roshi, I think he would just barely be able to pull off sealing her, so he throws the jar out of the ring, thus eliminating Kakat. For the third round, the 49th match would be between Kensai and Piccolo, which Piccolo would likely be able to take Kensai down, since even though he is powerful, he is shown to be rather slow when attacking, so I think Piccolo would be able to outspeed him and wear him down, then knock him out of the ring. The 50th match is in between Cocoons and Jiren, which it would go the same as his other fights, with Jiren eliminating her easily. Next in the 51st match, it's Paparoni against Majikayo, but since Majikayo is seemingly the strongest fighter from Universe 3, he wins this fight. And for the 52nd match, it is Android 18 against Zerloin, but she should be able to win this match. She beat Ribrianne, who I believe was the strongest Universe 2 fighter, so 18 eliminates Zerloin. Since this was Universe 2's last fighter, everyone from Universe 2 is erased, including Hellas and Pell, thus leaving only the Angel Sour behind, as he looks solemn when they are erased. Then as for the 53rd match, while both Android 17 and Hit are strong fighters, I don't think 17 could keep up with Hit's time skip, so he would be eliminated. For the 54th match, it's between Pilina and Gohan, which this would go essentially the same as in the anime. Once in his ultimate form, Gohan would be able to knock Pilina out of the ring with his Kamehameha. The 55th match is between Toph and Vegeta, which he would easily be able to push Vegeta into his Super Saiyan Blue form. Even though Frieza isn't there to torture him and force him to give up his morals, his universe's survival is still on the line, so Toph would still give up his value of justice. Toph would then transform into his God of the Shashi form, and he goes after Vegeta with a barrage of ki blast from his Justice Flash. Since Vegeta was determined to keep his promise to Kappa, he still wanted to win, as Top Gun launches a blast at him. He is pushed back at first, but he reflects on how he can't cast aside his family and friends, which is when he transcends his limits. Vegeta would unlock the Super Saiyan Blue evolution form for the first time, as he then pushes Top's blast back. He would then start a fierce counterattack, which the Universe 11 gods were shocked to see Top being battered around like this. Top then tries to destroy Vegeta's attacks, but he manages to dodge all of these while continuing his assault on Top. Vegeta then began charging the final explosion, while Top charged his Spirit Destruction. The two blasts struggle against each other, but it was too much for Top to destroy, so Top is eliminated. The other Universe 7 fighters were worried Vegeta died, but when the smoke clears, they see he survived. He has reverted to his base form though, and he is struggling to stand up as he is teleported back to the stands. The 56th match, which is also the last match of round 3, would be between Goku and Master Roshi, which Roshi and Goku would be happy to fight again, as it reminds them of the old days when Goku trained under Roshi. Obviously, Goku would be able to win this fight, but he still spars with Master Roshi at first. I see this fight likely ending in a Kamehameha beam struggle against them, with Goku going into his Super Saiyan form and Master Roshi using his buff form. Goku's Kamehameha would win in this struggle, thus eliminating Roshi. The next match, which is the first match of the 4th round and is the 57th overall match, is between Piccolo and Jiren. Even with Piccolo trying his hardest, he wouldn't stand a chance, so Jiren easily eliminates him. In the 58th match, Magikaiyo and Android 18 would be facing each other, which I see Magikaiyo winning this fight. In the anime, Magikaiyo was giving Dispo trouble, and it took both Gohan and Frieza to take down Dispo, so I see him as being stronger than 18. She is eliminated. The 59th match would be between Hit and Gohan, which I see Hit as being the one to win this fight. In Ultimate Gohan's sparring match with Goku, he was able to push him into using the Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue, which Hit can do that as well, and he has grown stronger since then. We also seen Gohan get overwhelmed by the instant transmission, so I think Hit's power in combination with his time skip abilities would be enough to eliminate Gohan. Then the 60th match, which is the last match of round 4, is an interesting fight in my opinion. It is between Vegeta and Goku, so if we got to see the tournament of power like this, we would finally get to see an on-screen rematch between Goku and Vegeta. Regardless, knowing them, they would likely have agreed before their match started to not hold back against each other, even though both are currently low on stamina. So, when they enter the ring and the match begins, they both charge at each other in their base forms. From the statements we got about both Goku and Vegeta in this saga, they were roughly on the same level of power. As they start to clash, since they are roughly equals, they would be going blow for blow with each other. Eventually they would decide to step it up and go Super Saiyan next, which of course this doesn't allow either of them to gain the upper hand. They would continue to spar for a bit, but then both eventually deciding to go Super Saiyan 2. Again, neither of them would gain the advantage, at least until Goku decides to go Super Saiyan 3. Since Vegeta doesn't have this form, he would be getting pummeled by Goku at first. However, after getting pummeled for a bit, he would tap into his Super Saiyan God form. Normally in the anime, we don't see Vegeta use this form for the first time until the Broly movie. Since Goku and Vegeta have been going form by form for this fight, I see Vegeta designed to use Super Saiyan God next. Which, since Goku is still Super Saiyan 3 right now, he'd be getting destroyed once Vegeta charges at him. That wouldn't last for long though, as he'd turn into a Super Saiyan God as well. So they would go back to going blow for blow. They would then eventually go into their Super Saiyan Blue forms and charge at each other again. Still, neither would have one up on the other at first, until Goku decides to use the Kaioken and burst. These brief bursts of using the Kaioken would allow him to outspeed and dodge Vegeta's attacks, along with allowing him to land harder blows of his own. However, this would eventually push Vegeta into his Super Saiyan Blue evolution form. If I recall correctly, we never got a strict statement saying if this form was equal to or stronger than Goku using the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, but it seemed equal to that form to me. Anyway, since Goku was just using the Kaioken at this time, Vegeta would have the upper hand in this form. Even when Goku uses the Kaioken times 10, Vegeta is still able to dodge his attacks and throw Goku around. However, when he's pushed using the Kaioken times 20, they would be back on even ground as they continue the fight. At this point, since Goku can't tap into Ultra Instinct at will, they decide to end this match with a clash of their beams. So, as they go on other sides of the ring from each other, Vegeta starts to charge the Final Flash, while Goku starts to charge his Kamehameha. Eventually when they fire them at each other, the beams would clash in the middle, since they are currently even. But since the Kaioken times 20 would be draining Goku's stamina fast, he would start to lose ground in this beam struggle. Eventually he would no longer have the power to maintain the Kaioken, so he drops back to his Super Saiyan Blue form, which, this allows Vegeta's Final Flash to overcome the Kamehameha and push both blasts back at Goku. He is enveloped by these blasts, but luckily for him, he lands on the side of the ring instead of being eliminated, as he falls back to his base form. So, Vegeta walks over and charges the blast above him to blast Goku out of the ring. Before he can fire it, though, Goku gets to his feet like he did against Kefla in the anime. This is when Goku unlocks the Ultra Instinct Sign form for the second time, as he swats Vegeta's blast away. Of course, Goku would be dodging all of Vegeta's attacks in this form and landing even harder blows on Vegeta. He would be getting beat down for a while, and he'd likely try to use his final flash again against Goku, but like he did against Kefla, he'd charge up his Kamehameha and use it to skid across Vegeta's final flash. He'd then unleash this blast against Vegeta, knocking him out of the ring. Vegeta would probably be angry if he lost to Goku, but he'd likely swear to surpass Goku again, but in his own way, since he doesn't think Ultra Instinct would fit him. So, this brings us to round 5, with the 61st match being between Jiren and Majikaio, which, we've seen this fight in the anime, so it'd go the exact same, with Jiren easily knocking Majikaio out of the ring in one hit. Since this was Universe 3's last fighter, everyone from Universe 3 is erased, including Moscow and Aiur, though before they are erased, Mule comes out of the robot, and then he says goodbye and thanks Campari for his support. Of course, this leaves only the angel Campari behind, as he was left surprised by Mule exiting his robot suit to say goodbye and thank him. Since there are only 2 fights in this round, the 62nd match is also the final match of round 5, and it is between Hit and Goku. Since Goku's next fight is up this soon, he is still worn out from fighting with Vegeta, to the point that he can barely stand on his feet. Regardless, he still enters the ring and gets into his fighting stance once Hit gets in the ring. Now, Hit is an intelligent fighter, and even though he thought he could take on Jiren by using his time prison in the anime, that wouldn't work here. Hit stalling Jiren doesn't work, as he would have to be able to knock him out of the ring somehow, which he couldn't while using that technique. He would also realize that he probably couldn't do much against Jiren, so it would be best if Goku was the one to go on to face Jiren. Though, since this tournament was there to be as entertainment for the Xenos, he'd fight with Goku briefly at first, to at least put on a show for them, since he doesn't know how they'd react if he just hopped out of the ring. To try and conserve Goku's stamina, he'd likely hold back against them, but knowing Goku, he'd tell Hit not to hold back, which would likely cause Hit to explain his plan to Goku that he is their best chance to fight Jiren. Goku would probably see that he is right, but he would make a similar promise to him that Vegeta did to Kaba. If he wins, he will revive them. So, Goku would play along with Hit's suppressed fighting, with neither of them seemingly getting the upper hand. However, since the ring was in rough shape by this time, when Hit is pushed back to the edge of the ring, he fakes that he tripped over a rock, so he fakes losing his balance because of this and falling out of the ring. Though, like Vegeta did in the anime, Hit gives his remaining energy to Goku. This scene would also be kind of reminiscent to where Goku hopped out of the ring in the Universe 6 tournament, as it is like where he could continue fighting, but he hopped out of the ring anyway. Goku would then be teleported back to the stands, where he would go over and thank Hit for what he just did. Regardless, since this was Universe 6's last fighter, everyone from Universe 6 is erased, including Champa and Fuwa. Though before Champa is erased, he calls out to Beerus and sticks out his tongue at him. As he is erased, Beerus looks solemn and still says, "Say something," since he wanted Champa to say something meaningful before being erased. Anyway, this only leaves the Angel of Vados behind, which she goes and sits with her brother, Whis. Next would be round 6, which the 63rd match is the only match of this round, and of course, it is between Jiren and Goku. Before Goku leaves the stands to enter the ring, the rest of the Universe 7 fighters give Goku some of their remaining energy, so that he could put up a better fight against Jiren. Goku would tell them not to give him all their energy, as he has a plan that he might need their energy for. So, he then enters the ring, and knowing Goku, even with the stake of his universe's lives on the line, he'd still want to try testing out Jiren's power. So, he starts the fight off by firing a Kamehameha at Jiren, which he just casually blocks with the force of his energy, making a wall in front of him. He then goes Super Saiyan and attacks Jiren, but his punches don't have any effect on him. Even when he goes Super Saiyan 2, Jiren is unfazed by his attacks. When he goes Super Saiyan 3, this doesn't even get Jiren to budge. However, as Goku goes Super Saiyan God, this gets Jiren to start blocking his attacks with a finger. As Goku realizes Jiren can't get serious like this, he then goes Super Saiyan Blue and starts to fight with him again. Though Jiren would be able to stop this assault, so Goku starts using the Kaioken. This doesn't change the tide of the battle, so he pushes himself into using the Kaioken times 10. He can't do much like this either, so he pushes his Kaioken up to times 20. But even then, Jiren is able to dominate Goku in their fight. He then drops to his base form and hops up on a hill created from previous fights, as he starts to charge a Spirit Bomb. This is when everyone from Universe 7 would give their remaining energy to Goku, and unlike the anime, even Vegeta joins in giving his energy, as he is already eliminated and doesn't need the energy anymore. When it is fully charged and he pushes it at Jiren, much to everyone's surprise, he can push it back with one hand. When Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue, he must resort to using both hands to push it back. Even when Goku taps into the Kaioken again, Jiren was still pushing it back. Then when he bumps this up to the Kaioken times 10, it finally created a deadlock between the two fighters. So, when he uses the Kaioken times 20, this starts to push the blast back towards Jiren, but he responds by using more of his power to push it back again. This time, it ends up colliding with Goku, as he tries as hard as he can to resist it, though he just barely manages to push it back. But Jiren puts his arms down and pushes it back with a glance. When Goku lets out his remaining power, it once again halts the Spirit Bomb, which the opposing forces causes the Spirit Bomb to expand and contract, which creates shockwaves around the arena. It eventually contracts enough and creates a black hole, which pulls Goku into it. As he's exposed to this immense level of energy, the Spirit Bomb explodes at a force that shakes the entire world of Void. When the dust clears, Goku is nowhere to be seen, and since he was seemingly killed, but it was by his own attack, Jiren was going to be announced the winner. Before he is, however, a shockwave starts to shake the entire ring as a large pillar of light then appears. Goku has unlocked the Ultra Instinct Sign form for the third time, and he charges at Jiren as he manages to effortlessly dodge Jiren's attacks and land heavy blows of his own. Jiren getting pummeled like this at first would push him into his full power form, but even then, he was still receiving heavy blows. But Goku still faces the problem of thinking, which interferes with Ultra Instinct, so he can't land a decisive hit on him. When he tries to use the Divine Kamehameha at close range, Jiren blocks it with a power impact. While observing this fight, Vegeta yells out Goku to remind him that he entrusted him with his promise to revive Universe 6, and that Goku promised the same. Even after pausing to take a breath before fighting Jiren again, he fails to turn the tables. Jiren then uses his Infinity Rush, which causes Goku to have his hands full with dodging his punches. As the ground starts to crumble away beneath him, sparks soon start to fly as Goku's fists clash with Jiren's and he lands a powerful hit into Jiren's chest, which knocks him back. As he's enveloped in a white-hot ki, he manages to catch and crush Jiren's overheat magnetron. He then manages to dodge Jiren's punches and land more of his own. As the glow around his body clears to reveal he has reached the perfected Ultra Instinct form, Goku starts to beat down Jiren, and he tells Goku not to get carried away. But Jiren is still being completely outclassed. Jiren gets furious and, in his rage, he declares he will win, as he then powers up and unleashes his fiery ki. As being overwhelmed by Goku caused him to recall his past trauma, which led to him awakening his hidden power. Jiren starts to get the upper hand, but Goku soon regains the advantage, with him using what he describes as their power, meaning the power of his friends and family. Jiren is eventually defeated but refuses to accept the importance of trust, since it goes against his beliefs. When Jiren tries to blast his stands, Goku easily deflects his blast as he then punches Jiren with a fistful of rage. They then exchange several blows and blasts, as Goku then uses his Supreme Kamehameha and seemingly finishes off Jiren. Though when he goes to blast him out of the ring, he then collapses and falls back to his base form, as the total Ultra Instinct took on his body finally caught up with him. However, even when Jiren goes to try and defeat Goku, he falls back into his base form as well. Goku had more energy in this timeline, so his hits were stronger as well, which led to Jiren getting even more damaged. As they are both lying on the ground, Top yells to Jiren to stand up, as he speaks about believing in him, which Krillin would yell out to Goku like this as well, and as both fighters are motivated by these speeches, they shakily manage to get back up on their feet. As they start fighting again, Jiren pumps up more of his energy to fight back, which creates a wall of energy. But since Goku is given more energy from hitting Universe 7, he has enough energy to transform into a Super Saiyan and maintain the form this time. His blast eventually breaks through this wall of energy, as he and Jiren then begin to duke it out. Since Goku has more energy in this timeline, his assault is enough to break through Jiren's defenses, as he just barely manages to blast Jiren out of the ring with his Kamehameha. Afterwards, Goku then collapses and falls back to his base form, as he lands on the crumbled ground of the ring. Since this was Universe 11's last fighter, they prepare to be erased, though they all thank Jiren for his efforts, despite him treating them in a cold manner. Then with the last of Goku's strength, he manages to stand up and call out to Jiren and say that he wants to fight him again, as he thinks it would help them both get stronger, so he's eager to meet him again sometime. This baffles Jiren, but he graces one last smile before he and the rest of Universe 11 are erased. So everyone from Universe 11 is erased, including Belmont Kai, thus leaving only the Angel Margarita behind. The Grand Minister then approaches Goku and announces him in Universe 7 as the winner. He then summons Super Shenron and asks Goku what his wish was, which is when he wishes for all the erased universes to be restored. As the Omni Kings then come down and talk with Goku, the Grand Minister still reveals that if they made a selfish wish, they would have been erased as well. Regardless, they then return to Universe 7, and the rest of the saga would go the same, with Vegeta and Goku going to spar again. Now, this would change some things in later sagas, but none of it is anything too major. The only big difference is the Broly movie, since without a revived Frieza, there is no one to find Broly, so it doesn't happen at all. As much as it is sad to say, Broly and Paragus would be stuck on Wampa for the rest of their lives in this timeline. Then I normally don't talk about these sagas, but I'll briefly go over them in this case, since it's a one-off scenario. Also, if you haven't been reading the manga and don't want spoilers, now would be the time to stop watching. Or if you don't want spoilers from the most recent movie either, because I briefly plan to discuss it as well. The lack of Frieza and Broly in the story doesn't change anything in the Galactic Patrol Prisoner saga, so that goes the same way. Then for the Granola the Survivor saga, the only difference is that it isn't Frieza who kills Gas. He was dying anyway, and his body was falling apart, so all that would have happened was Goku and Vegeta would have been beaten down a little more until Gas eventually died and quickly decayed into a skeleton like we had seen in the manga. Also, of course, the Heaters wouldn't join up with Frieza, so they would just escape the planet on their own. The only big difference in the superhero movie is that Broly, Chi-Lai, and Lemma wouldn't be on Beerus' planet. So, Broly is never trained there, and Beerus doesn't have the moment of liking Lemma's food and finding Chi-Lai attractive. Which, since that's as far as we have seen the Dragon Ball Super timeline go so far, this is where this scenario ends.